Hi. So I've been a Christian for almost most of my life. Um, we went to church every Sunday. It was like we were a typical Christian family. Um, and I accepted Jesus into my heart the day before I started kindergarten. But that's not when my faith became real to me. My faith didn't become real and personal to me until much later than that. You see, when I was in fifth grade, my dad was in a near fatal car accident. He broke many bones and he had a traumatic brain injury. And that's when things really began to change for me and our family. I wasn't able, growing up, I had a great relationship with my parents. I could tell them anything. We did house projects together, all of that. But with my dad's brain injury, it was a lot harder to do that. And I lost a lot of that relationship and couldn't really talk to him and have deep conversations like I used to before. In seventh grade, I was introduced to wildlife and kind of didn't really understand it at first, but the more and more I went to it, the more and more I enjoyed it. And my leader, Chris, invested everything into me. I would see him in the lunchroom all the time, and I just admired his love for kids and his love for Christ. And, I went to my first wildlife camp that summer after seventh grade, and, this is where God really came into my life, and I realized, the impact that it had on me. And it was the first time that I had, a male role model for me and a mentor. And that was really important to me. As I accepted Christ and it became personal, I had to make personal sacrifices. I realized that, having a relationship with God, you have to make sacrifices. When I surrendered my life to Him, my dad wasn't healed. Things didn't necessarily completely change. Like my family dynamic didn't change. Like I still couldn't necessarily have some of those deep conversations. School didn't change. Like school's the exact same. But I felt the work of God inside of me. And I know that can sound a little cheesy, but I felt Him working in me and doing something big in my life with everything I've gone through. Before I was introduced to wildlife, there's, things holding me back from Jesus. I didn't feel that personal connection to Christianity. And, I felt like Christianity was just something you did. Like you went to church, like that was Christianity. But you see, once I realized that and went to camp, I realized that it was so much more than just something that you did, but it was a lifelong commitment to God and to devotion and prayer with Him. So with having this relationship with God, I have a life-giving and joyful friends. Before I had friendships, but there's no depth to them. But now I have wonderful friends that I'm so vulnerable with, including my Young Life leader. I'm honest with them. We grow in our faith together. We read the Bible. We pray for one another. This is life-giving friend. And God's taught me so much lately. He's taught me that I have to put my full trust in Him with every part of my life, not just pick and choose, but every single part of my life. And Christ has such a larger impact than before. Before is just, like I said, it was something I did, but now I realized that this was a lifelong commitment and I had to trust Him with everything, all that I had. And I realize now I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. It's bound to happen. But I have God there and He will forgive me. He will love me. His mercies are new every day. And that's something that I take pride in. I take joy in that, knowing that I can go to Him and run to Him with anything that I have. And one of the Bible verses that has really helped me through my faith is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Knowing that I can't do this on my own. This isn't a me and God. It's horizontal as well. Me and other people, fellow Christians, and I can't do it alone, and I have to trust God, and I run to Him for that. And, things still happen. Like, we found out my mom has cancer. But, God is there, and I just have to trust in Him and know that everything will be okay. And it will. It really will. Thank you. Can't wait to see you at Work Crew.